Hello, so Coach Robert here. Today we want to look at a principle that I do talk about with my kids pretty often, but it came up recently in a game I was playing, so I wanted to go over it with you guys. The principle is don't just play with your queen. Okay, now some people say, but that's like my favorite piece. It's so powerful. Yeah, it's powerful, but you know what? If you just play with your queen and not everything else, well, you're probably going to lose the queen. One of my favorite things to happen in a game is where somebody brings their queen out early because, like, as soon as I see that queen come out, my thought is, she's mine. I'm going to take her. I was playing a game recently and this happened. We're going to look at that game, but just as an example, before we even get into that game, I want to show you this one that was more like a study. I don't think this actually happened in a game, but just kind of a speculation. This is sort of stuff that can happen if you play with your queen too early. You know, we got a normal, let's see, e4, e5, knight f3 opening. But then the person plays this d4 or d5 move with the idea, okay, well, I can take your pawn and threaten your knight. And if you take my pawn, then my queen comes into the game, all right? So now if I'm playing with white, I'm all about that. I want you to bring your queen into the game early, yeah. So we got the pawn takes pawn, queen takes pawn. And so the moment the queen comes into the game, you can try to get a tempo. A tempo means where you make a move and your opponent has to respond to it before they can do what they want. So you kind of get an extra move in. And so see if you could see the tempo here. Did you spot it? Hopefully you saw that knight c3, just that normal developing move, comes with a tempo because it attacks the queen. Now, people that like to play with their queen early, they tend to not know that the best thing to do is to bring your queen back. They like to do something like, let's bring it over to the side, let's keep it in the game. Well, gotta be careful. Now, this next move is not a great move for white, but it was kind of the speculated move, and they played b4. Now, b4 doesn't actually do anything. This is not a good move, because black can just develop another piece and come in that way. But let's say if instead black misses that and black plays queen over. Okay, this is the mistake. All right, take a look. One of the reasons you play b4 is that gives the bishop control of the a3 square, knight control of a4, knight control of a2, and your other bishop is controlling a6. So the only A file square you're not attacking is where the queen's standing. So let's just attack the queen. The queen comes over, and then the rook comes over. Now where's this queen gonna go, right? Obviously she can't stay anywhere on the B file. You know, this square's gone, this square's gone. Maybe scoot over this way, but these two squares are gone. The bishop's got this square covered, right? And that only leaves a few squares over here that you can go to. And, you know, if you go to these, then pawn push comes with tempo again. You know, if the queen comes to here, then when the pawn gets pushed, the bishop's attacking the queen. So just nothing looks good. So the queen, it looks natural to step back. But if you step back, the queen's lost, right? So then the rook comes up. Now where does the queen go? The knight's guarding the rook. The knight's guarding a4. The knight's guarding a2. The bishop's guarding a3. And the rook is still controlling everything on the b file, right? So that just leaves the square a6. But then check this out, right? We've got a chance for a revealed attack on the queen. If you want to take that queen, you just do a revealed attack that comes with check. And there goes the queen. The best move from here is the queen to block. And then you trade rook for queen. And take a look at this. Black is completely undeveloped. All the pieces on the back row. And no queen. White has two pieces developed, ready to bring one bishop out, and also ready to bring the other bishop out along this diagonal somewhere, right? So everything is good for white. White's down a rook, but black's down a queen. So that I thought was an interesting little study. So let's take a look at the game that I played recently. Okay, so this is, if you've been following along with some of my other videos, I recently did a video from this Mars Attack tournament that I'm in on chess.com. This tournament has been going on for 2 years. Okay, it had over 200 players, and you're put in groups of 11 that were round robin, so you're playing 20 games at a time. The top 3 from each group advance to the next round. We are now in round 3. So that means I've gone through 2 groups of 11 players, 11 or 12 players. I won both my groups going into this, but now there are only 2 groups remaining, and so everybody in these groups are the winners of the winners. They're the top players from two rounds. So I expect some good games, and I have had some good games. I finished before this game. I had finished 4 games. I had won 3 of them. The other one I should have won, but I really like making sacrifices that don't work. I don't know why I do that, but I do it all the time. And I did it again. I was winning. I had the game, but I thought I saw a cool sacrifice. It didn't work. Anyways, so I finished 4 games, and this game had just kind of gotten started. And with this round, knowing I was playing stronger opponents, I kind of stuck with the stuff that I know. In the previous rounds, I kind of alternated my openings. I'd play some c4, d4, e4, all sorts of stuff. But with this round, knowing it's getting a little tougher, I just went with what I know, and that's the English. I like the English. Not very many people play it. And I've learned a lot since I've been playing this tournament on the English as well. And so I just knew that I just want to stick with that. So I started with the English c4. The idea is I'm going to control the center with a pawn that's not in the center. Okay. So my opponent responded with the move d5. I've only encountered this once before. It was actually in a tournament that I was playing in the Dallas area. And I really wasn't sure what to do about it. And in that tournament, I just played d4 and transitioned into a Queen's Gambit. I did not enjoy the game. I think I won, but it doesn't. I either won it or I drew it. I'm pretty sure I didn't lose it. I just remember being really disappointed because I wanted to play an English game, not a Queen's Gambit game. And I really, at that time, I hadn't spent a whole lot of time looking at Queen's Gambit. So this time I said, you know what? I have played against some players that have played the Scandinavian, and I really like that because they bring their queen out. And my thought is, okay, if we're going to swap pawns, I'm losing a side pawn for your central pawn, and you're bringing your queen out? Yeah, let's do it. So, yep, they bring the queen out, which means let's develop with tempo. Knight c3. Okay, the best move again is for the queen to just go home. Go back. If nothing else, go to d6. D6 or d8. Those are the best moves for the queen. But get her safe. Get your pieces developed. Start playing chess. Now, this person moved queen to h5. Now, this was new. I had not seen something like this before. I had played against a Scandinavian, somebody who liked to play the Scandinavian, who moved it over to queen a5. And I harassed the queen for the rest of the game. Finally missed the fork that would have won the queen, of course. Still ended up winning the game, but it should have been easier than it was. Well, this player moves queen to h5, and my first thought is, well, that's weird. All right, I'm not used to that. I'm used to people putting it over on a5, thinking they've got a pin on my king. So I said, all right, let's just think about this. I want to win the queen. She's out in the middle of the board. She doesn't have any help. I want to win her. So what I need to do is I need to take away all her squares. So let's start by developing my knight. Another good move, probably even better, would have been d4. But I wanted to take away more squares quicker. You know, this covers this, it covers this. In fact, I wouldn't even mind if d5 got played because it would prevent the queen from getting back to the other side of the board, right? I don't want the queen moving, so I want d5. Well, he plays, or she, I don't know, knight f6. And then I play e4. Again, just trying to get d5 to get played. Probably not the best move. I probably should have played d4 there. Instead, my opponent played knight to c6. And so I said, okay, well, I'm just going to take the whole center. And now take a look at this. My bishop is now on the open diagonal. My knight controls g5. My other knight controls b5. And my pawns control everything here. So this is not looking so good for this queen already. There's not a whole lot of safe squares. We've got a5 over here that's safe. For the time being, g4 is safe and g6 is a little safe. So I said, okay, well, how about let's just go ahead and put a chance for a revealed attack on the queen. All right, now at this point, the queen needs to get out of there. If this queen is going to be safe, this queen needs to rotate over to a5. Now the problem is the knight sitting on c6 is blocking the c7 pawn, because what really needs to happen is the queen to shift over to a5, the knight get out of the way, the pawn come forward, and then the queen go back home where she's safe. This is already not looking good. My opponent, freaking out about the threat of a revealed attack, moves queen g6. As soon as I saw queen g6, my eyes lit up, because I am certain that I've seen this as a chess puzzle before. I was like, I've seen this position. I don't know if I actually saw this exact position, but I was pretty sure I did, because I won the queen. All right, pause your video, see if you can spot it. See if you can see how I win the queen. All right, did you find it? All right, take a look. Where's the queen going to go? Right, the bishop, this bishop on c1 is blocking these two squares, g5 and h6. The pawn on e4 is protecting e5. The e4 pawn is protected by the knight. All right. G3 obviously is not safe because the pawn's on H2 and F2. So there's not a whole lot of options. There was a square that the queen was on, G5 and H5 and the G4 square, but both of those could be under attack simply by moving the knight. And by moving the knight, I can also attack the queen and protect the one undefended pawn that I have. And so there we go. Where's the queen going to go? She can't go anywhere. She can't go to h6 or g5 because of the bishop. She can't go to h5 or g4 because of the other bishop. She can't go to f5 because of the pawn. She can't go to e4 because of the knight. She can't go to g3 because of my pawns. And she can't go to g2 because of the knight move. The queen is lost. I told some people about this game, and I said, you know what the next move is going to be? It's going to be resign. Well, about 2 hours ago, right before I was recording this video, my opponent resigned. This was a long game. They were given 7 days to make the move, which baffles me that given 7 days, they came up with this move, queen to g6. Really? You had 7 days to make a move, and that was the move you found? So, guys, do your tactics. If you do your tactics, you're going to see that that's not going to work. But the more important lesson is, if you use your queen against me, I'm going to take her. I'm going to find a way to corner and trap your queen. All right? Your queen is such a strong piece, but she can't fight alone. And you don't want her out in front of all of your other pieces on the front line, because that means she's the first to get attacked. get your pieces developed, get control of the center, get your king safe. Then start thinking about where the queen works best. All right? If you do that, then you'll have a shot at your queen being used well. If you don't, I'm just going to take your queen. All right? And so will any strong player. If we can take the queen off the board and keep ours, we're going to do it. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Stay tuned. Hopefully I will give you some more updates on this tournament that I'm in coming up as more games finish up. A lot of the other games are kind of getting close to the middle game right now, so it may be a little while. But I'll also have some videos from some of the PHCC tournaments that run on Fridays. So I'll see you next time.